There's a moment most landowners don't talk about publicly. It's not dramatic. It doesn't happen overnight. It's the moment when the numbers stop working quietly, and you begin asking yourself a question you never expected to ask. Is this crop still worth the land it's sitting on? For many farmers, switching crops feels like failure, a sign that something went wrong. But in reality, most successful landowners switch not because they failed, but because conditions changed. And knowing when to switch crops is one of the most important financial decisions a landowner can make. Most people think crop changes happen because of one bad year. A storm, a disease outbreak, and a price drop, but that's rarely the real reason. Smart landowners don't react to single events. They react to trends. There are usually 3 quiet signals that show up before a crop transition makes sense. The first is margin compression. When revenue stays flat or declines, but costs rise year after year, something fundamental has shifted. At first, it feels manageable. You tighten expenses, delay upgrades, absorb the hit. But eventually, you realize you're working just to maintain ground, not to build income. The second signal is risk concentration. This is when a crop becomes dependent on too many outside variables. Disease pressure, chemical inputs, labor availability, insurance terms, regulatory changes. When one issue can disrupt an entire season, the land becomes fragile. And fragile land is expensive land. The third signal is opportunity cost. This one is subtle and often ignored. It's not about how the crop is performing. It's about what the land could be doing instead. Land doesn't measure success emotionally. It measures success economically. If another use of the same acreage could produce steadier income with lower risk, the question becomes unavoidable. Why am I holding on to this? This is where many Florida landowners find themselves today, especially those with legacy crops like citrus. The land still has value, the trees are still standing, but the return no longer reflects the risk, time, and capital involved. That doesn't mean switching is always the answer. In fact, switching too early is one of the biggest mistakes landowners make. The worst time to switch crops is during panic. When decisions are driven by fear instead of analysis, smart transitions happen deliberately. They're phased, they're tested, they're based on cash flow timelines, not headlines. In many cases, landowners aren't asking, what should I plant next? They're asking something more important. What kind of income do I want this land to produce over the next 10 to 20 years? That question changes everything. This is why alternative crops, including bamboo, are entering more conversations, not as silver bullets, but as tools to change the risk profile of the land, to shorten payback timelines, to reduce dependency on annual harvest success, to treat land more like a long-term income asset and less like a seasonal gamble. None of this means traditional crops are finished, and it doesn't mean switching is right for everyone. But it does mean that holding on to a crop purely out of tradition can quietly become one of the most expensive decisions a landowner makes. Switching crops makes financial sense when the economics change, when risk increases faster than return, and when land has the potential to work harder than it currently is. In upcoming videos, we'll look at how bamboo compares to citrus in real terms. Costs, timelines, payback expectations, and just as importantly, when switching doesn't make sense. This channel is about understanding land as an asset, quiet land, long-term thinking, no hype.